Hello, everybody. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, this is Shovel Knight Specter of Torment, where you play as this badass caped dude. He's got a scythe. So as far as basic gameplay differences go for Specter Knight, he runs a little bit faster, he doesn't jump as high as Shovel Knight, he can obviously climb walls, and while in the air he can dash up or down toward an enemy, as indicated by the little, I forget what they call it, hash mark or whatever. Point being, that Specter is generally a faster character than Shovel Knight. So not too much to talk about in planes, just teaches you the basics of movement. And these red skulls that I'm picking up will be used to buy my relics, or as they're called in this campaign, curios. And I'm going to need a lot of money. More on why later. If anyone has any questions about Specter Knight or anything Shovel Knight related, please post them in voice chat. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Gonna grab some extra health here, just for marathon safety. Little history about the Specter of Torment any percent route. There's actually two different routes that are very close to each other in time. I recently learned the slightly faster one, so I'll be doing that today. But the two routes use basically the same items with the exception of one route uses an item called the Skeletal Sentry, which is what I used at SGDQ, and the route I'm doing now will get the Bounding Soul and upgrade that. The Bounding Soul is kind of like, I forget what the item is called in Symphony of the Night, but it's the little diamond that bounces around on walls and stuff. So it's very useful. Here we have Black Knight, but with a new twist. He rides this rhino turtle thingy. Darn. If you time it right, you can bounce him against the corner, but no such luck today. There we go. Not bad. Anyhow, every boss has like a new second or third phase, just to differentiate it from the other campaigns. And as is obvious, there's new art assets, there's new music. It's pretty cool. As for the story of Specter of Torment, I won't spoil too much in case you haven't played it. But the gist of it is that Specter Knight is now in the employment of the Enchantress, basically against his will. And he must recruit 8 knights to form an invincible order for the Enchantress, and only then will he be granted his freedom. Next level I go to is the Flying Machine. The reason being is that it has some of the most money out of any level in the game, and it also has a lot of skulls that are pretty easy to get. I'm going to need at least 10. I hope to end this level with 13, and that will allow me to get an item after this level. So as for how you get curios, you trade the red skulls for them. Oops. Anyhow. So the items you unlock, you actually don't buy in the level. Rather, you beat a level, which allows you to then purchase the item back in the tower hub. And the reason this level is done second, in addition to the money, is because it gives us an item called Judgment Rush. More on that later. But this item is very helpful in doing a lot of skips in this game. And a lot of these little 200 gems like that one are actually extras that I'm getting just to do a slightly more marathon safe route. An optimal route would break every checkpoint in this level. I'll break most of them. And this boat always seems to give me trouble whenever I do a marathon run. It's of course possible to kill it much faster than that. We're going to come up to an auto-scroller here, and after it begins, I can talk a little bit about how Specter's magic works. So you see up at the top I have Will and Darkness. Will is my life, Darkness is my magic power. And you get Darkness back by picking up little Darkness wisps that lay throughout the level, and you also get Darkness by killing enemies. And I'll be buying a few Darkness upgrades so that I can use more items more frequently. One more cannonball, and up we go. Oh, right, the boat. That's why I didn't meet that. Oh well. Almost done with this level. I'm also doing some slightly safer strats in some rooms, such as this one, just for a little extra safety. So there's a slightly faster strat that you can do right here to basically skip waiting for all that. But slowly living is faster than quickly dying. And then there's the propeller Jawas, or hover meanies, as they are officially called. They are still just as mean. This room blows. Alright, once Propeller Knight decides where he wants to land, I can kill him. Took a little bit longer than I wanted, but just fine. So the reason I need so much money is that I need to actually unlock a set of armor. Oh, Akash, the reason, or what Darkness does, is it's basically my magic power. It regenerates from picking up Darkness Wisps throughout the level or by killing enemies. Anyhow. So first, I trade in 10 skulls for this item called Judgment Rush. And as you'll see in a moment, what Judgment Rush does is it teleports you toward the nearest enemy on screen at the time of activation. However, it just targets that location, so if the enemy moves, you will still move toward their old location. And then I trade in 2,400 gold to unlock this fine creature, who then allows me to buy armor. So all in all, just to get this one armor upgrade, is 8,400 gold. This armor is called Rail Mail, and as you can see, it lets me skate on the ground by holding down on the D-pad. Oops. I had to do a slightly slower strat there. So Explodatorium is basically the same as always as far as basic mechanics go. There's stuff in the level that's based on a global cycle, which begins as soon as you start the level, which I'll come up to very shortly. Gonna wait here. That was the cycle I was hoping to meet, or rather I was hoping to get there slightly faster. Anyhow, Explodatorium is done second in this route, because we need the item that we unlock by beating it, which is the Bounding Soul. It costs 5 skulls, and here comes my 5th. This slime is being a jerk. Don't need that darkness. This mini-boss takes 23 hits to kill. He has the most health of any enemy in the game. If you kill him in this form, he gives you health. With the other route, the Skeletal Sentry, you can kill him before he transforms. But that's just one of the trade-offs between the two routes. A little bit scary. Unlike Shovel and Plague, Specter Knight only takes half a pip of life from fire. Something else about Judgment Rush is that at the end of the rush, you actually have some slight invincibility. So in certain situations, like that fire platform I passed, you actually can stand on it immediately after the rush and you will take no damage. I want to make sure I get all that gold. Money is very important in the Specter of Torment run, no matter which route you do. Like, having money in the early game is always beneficial. I'm gonna break this too, because Plague Knight's not very challenging. I mean that in the best way possible. So you might notice that I'll try to stand intentionally under where Plague will jump, and then I'll time my swings so that I don't take any damage. Because when you damage enemies in this game, they actually can't damage you. And you can tell which Plague is the real one because he has a slightly darker palette. The other ones are slightly brighter green. Similar to the Shovel Knight campaign, where every 3 levels you have a dream sequence that you can't skip. Specter Knight has these flashbacks which tell the backstory of how he became Specter Knight. So now I'm playing as Donovan, and my friend here, Luan, will help me traverse the level. Or at least ideally he will. Sometimes he's a jerk. Gonna get some extra gold for safety. So I won't tell you what Donovan and Luan are after, but I figured it was important you know their names. Alright. Now we need the Bounding Soul. So I just bought a Darkness Wisp for 4,000 gold. Each level contains a Darkness or Health Wisp chest, but if you don't get them, you can just buy them in the hub. So I will actually be buying them all from the Tower Hub, and I won't be getting any more curios or any different armors. Ideally, I would have not bounced against that wall, but hey. Or that one. So the rest of the levels are done in the order they are, essentially just because that's the fastest way to do it. Level order doesn't really matter too much anymore. That was confusing. Not sure why I didn't dash toward the birder. That's not good for several reasons. It is now mandatory that I return to the tower and start this one again. Because because I can't afford to miss that jump, and for some reason it didn't target the lantern when I swung, nor did it want me to Judgment Rush for some reason. That is the opposite of what I wanted. I'm not entirely sure why that happened. Well, I'm not going to restart the level again. We're just going to have to go slow so I can get my money back, assuming I actually can. Otherwise, this run might actually be RIP. Okay. Well, I'll figure this out somehow. That's fine. Luckily, if you go just how I did, you can meet that cycle. Ugh. Grab this point, just in case something goes amiss. Another benefit of the, I forget, Judgment Rush, that's what this item is called. I'm so used to calling it Blink Slash. Anyway, another benefit is obviously it can kind of stop you in the air if there's no enemies around. And it can also halt you in the air for a moment so you can kind of extend your jumps by a bit. Good Mole Knight fight, though. His second phase is incredibly difficult. Just because he then summons a bunch of green goo blocks around the screen and he bounces around everywhere. It's not a fun time. Luckily, I still have enough, or I will have enough money. Pay 3,000 gold to this guy. Shoutouts to feats. So now I've upgraded Bounding Soul, and you'll see the power of this item in just a moment. Now a surprise boss fight with Reese. But Enchantress is mad that he broke her window, so she scolds him, he becomes emo. And now you just kind of have to chase him around. Alright. Well, that's not where that was supposed to take me, but that works. Ideally, I would have dashed it against a different one, and then gotten in here sooner. Oh well. And right here I'm going to wait, and then for some reason in this room, oh, it didn't work. Odd. Never mind then. Now we're just going to wait for this fish to get to the phase where I can actually kill him. He takes 12 hits to kill, which luckily is incredibly easy. Oops, forgot to do something in this room. I have to do a slightly different strategy now. Hello, Bertha. Goodbye, Bertha. That is the least good thing. I don't know why I did that. There. Alright, I'm halfway done with the Order of No Quarter. Or rather, recruiting them. Next level is the Lich Yard. And you might be wondering, if I'm playing a Specter Knight, who is the boss in the Lich Yard? I'd tell you, but that'd be spoilers. So you're just gonna have to wait a couple minutes to find out. Side note, in case you're interested in the soundtracks of any of the Shovel Knight campaigns, they're all available for free on Jake Kaufman's Bandcamp. That includes the Specter of Torment soundtrack. So one feature of this level are these platforms you keep seeing that appear seemingly at random, but really they just appear when you get close to them. But luckily I'm not really trying to hit a certain gold threshold or anything anymore. Now it's all about going fast. I'm gonna get full health because I have to do a lot of, like, damage boosting against this boss. Not even damage boosting, but more so just tanking a lot of damage. One more teleport, just to spite me. That may have actually worked out in my favor. Sometimes Luan will stop randomly in that first room, but I'm wondering if that wall climb actually helped. Anyway. So the item I was given at the start of this that I've been throwing around is called the Caltrops. Costs 6 magic to use. You can have 2 out at a time. And as you saw, they're mostly useful for kind of getting enemies out of your way with good placement. Throw those down preemptively. And Shield Knight is dead. And for some reason, Donovan decides to attack Luan. Not really sure what that's about. And we are off to Clockwork Tower. Gonna grab this one just in case this upcoming trick kills me. And I can already tell you that it's impossible for me to get this trick now. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I need to take it easy for a moment with a nice slow auto-scroller. That only works in this room, well really in auto-scrollers, and only on this type of platform. I'm really not sure why that happens, but it does. Okay, don't know why I didn't grab the wall. Here we have Tiny Man. Baz just kind of shows up and asks to join the order, and Reese and Specter aren't having it. Beat the cycle. Nice. So the other benefit of rail mail is that you can rail over spikes. Sometimes you just get hit by that guy. I'm glad that was health. Sometimes that platter can be a bomb instead of food. Ideally, I would have just railed through that while attacking. Looks like my books are quick today. This is actually one of my more preferred levels. I like to play through. I really like it. Here's King Knight. Pretty simple fight. Yo, untouched. Go me. One more flashback that's actually just a cutscene. So luckily we can just skip it. Alright, Stranded Ship is the level where if you didn't have rail mail, you would first be introduced to the skating mechanic. As you may have noticed, Specter's kind of doing a little like 360. You can also do a kickflip. So if you hold up and down on the D-pad while you're jumping with a rail, you get one of those nice little Easter egg tricks. This level actually features a new mini-boss specific to this campaign. This giant bird that vomits rainbows. There we go. In order to do that without landing on the rails after you dash, you have to, like, jump extra low or something. I'm gonna try this again. There we go. Just in case. Alright, if you've been paying attention, you may have noticed I've finished the last of the levels that was in the level select. So there's actually two more. And this next level is very technical, so I'm just gonna try to focus. Yet again, Black Knight breaks more of this room. So sit back and enjoy the music. So the beginning of that actually sets up a cycle skip for this Crusher. Do not try that at home, folks. Oh, later, Alec.
Later.
Anyone wondering who I was talking to, I was actually talking to Alec Faulkner, who designed most of this game. I'm actually streaming from the Yacht Club Games studio. Well, that's unfortunate. That was right at the end of the auto-scroller, too. Alright. And now for the most evil boss fight ever imagined. There's really no good way to do this fight, unfortunately. Thank goodness. Double KO. So the only thing left for Specter Knight to do in his quest is actually get his revenge on the Enchantress. Specter Knight failed to recruit 8 knights, so he cannot be free of the Enchantress's curse. Other benefit of Rail Mail, it can skate over gaps that are 2 blocks wide. Mostly useful in that section. ideally I will get a good fight. Already off to a bad start, if I'm being honest with you. Not too bad. And you defeat the Enchantress, but she pulls a fast one and turns Reese into whatever that is. And so at certain health thresholds, Reese will either fly back to the back of the screen or execute a different attack. I'd actually like to be on the top rail. Missed 2 hits. You can kill him before this section starts, but it's kind of dependent on what happens during the fight. Time. Sorry for not telling you time was coming up. Oh, that looks like a 49 something. $48.03. Well, I won't say anything about that. Anyhow, thank you for having me, Boix. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. Be sure to check out the leaderboard for Shovel Knight on speedrun.com to look for times for Specter of Torment that are much, much better than what I just showed off. And if you'd like to get into speedrunning Shovel Knight yourself, we do have a lot of resources and guides available for all 3 characters. And there is an open invite to the Discord server on the leaderboards. But that is it for me, so we can move on to the next run.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and get that